Alrighty, guys, what is going on, everybody? Hope everyone is having a fantastic Saturday. Hope everyone is doing good. So we got ourselves some more info for you guys regarding this upcoming severe weather here for tomorrow. We do got ourselves a slight risk out there for severe weather, a level 2 threat. So we need you guys to be extra weather aware for tomorrow. But what's up, everybody? Let's see who we got here today before we dive on into it. We have Evans, we have James, we have Polly, we have, let's see here, we have Wendy, we have Kenneth, we have Binksy, we have Paxton, we have AJ, Railfan, let's see here, we have Jay, we have Silent, we have Samuel, let's see here, Texas, Oklahoma. We have 2 different states here, man. Goodness, I feel honored to have 2 different states. Let's see, Christian, Jazz, and of course, we have Tom, and of course, everybody else who is here. What is up, my friends? Hope everyone is doing good. So, like I mentioned, tomorrow we do got an active day for severe weather. We have a level 2 threat. So the main concern for tomorrow, guys, is going to be across the yellow areas here of northeastern Texas, including like Tyler, Texas, northern Louisiana, including Shreveport. We do have ourselves like kind of southern, southeastern Arkansas here, central northern Mississippi, southwestern Tennessee, and a little bit of northwestern Alabama in that level 2 threat. So that is, like I mentioned, the scale goes from 1 to 5, 5 being the worst, greatest potential for severe weather, the maximum probability and everything for severe weather. We're in a level 2, which still is a decent risk for severe weather. Regardless of what level you're in, it's still an active risk for severe weather and, damaging storms. So yeah, once again, the greatest potential is across the yellow. We have also the potential for severe weather here across the dark green as well. So these areas in the dark green and the yellow, you guys are in the risk here for severe weather for tomorrow. And of course, we do have this other area of light green, which actually works its way all the way up into southern Wisconsin, where a couple of storms could be possible. So the area here in the light green basically just says, a few thunderstorms are possible. This is your generalized thunderstorm threat, so a couple of storms can't be ruled out. But regarding the damaging storms and the potential for severe weather, that is across areas here in the green, or I should say the dark green and the yellow. Now, we do, unfortunately, have the chance for tornadoes tomorrow. They did upgrade the risk here since yesterday. We do have ourselves a little 5% chance for tornadoes. So for tomorrow, the greatest potential for tornadoes is going to be across extreme northeastern Louisiana and kind of central Mississippi. This does include some areas out there by Jackson, Mississippi, Yazoo City area, Lake Providence. So once again, yeah, northeastern Louisiana and kind of central Mississippi is going to kind of be in that main threat regarding, tornado potential. But generally speaking, tornadoes will be possible all the way up into southwestern Kentucky, including some areas like central western Tennessee, kind of northwestern Alabama, a lot of Mississippi, from the south central all the way up to the northern side. eastern and southern Arkansas, central and northern Louisiana, and once again, a little bit of eastern, kind of northeastern Texas here will be in that risk for potential tornadoes. So what does that mean? So the green area here, this is a 2% chance for tornadoes. The brown is a 5% chance. So let's just use Memphis for an example. So say you live in Memphis. Okay, say you live right where that red dot is. So within a 25-mile radius of Memphis, this is exactly 25-mile radius around Memphis, there is a 2% chance, relatively low chance, that a tornado could drop somewhere in that radius, okay? So, it doesn't have to be right over where you're at specifically. Once again, we're pretending that you guys are the red dot here. It could be a tornado, making contact within a 25-mile radius of you. It is a 2% chance, which is a very low probability. So try not to worry about it, but, unfortunately, the environment is going to be capable for tornadoes tomorrow across some of these regions. So while the odds are very unlikely that you'll see a tornado, there is still potential, and the environment is still capable of it. So then, of course, you work your way across the little brown area here. So we'll use Yazoo City for an example. So within a 25-mile radius of, Yazoo City here, kind of the same thing here, but just a higher probability, just a 5% chance instead of the 2. So the green is a 2% chance of a tornado occurring within a 25-mile radius of a location, and the brown is a 5% chance, which, obviously is a greater probability there overall. So that is that. Once again, maximum tornado threat here is a 5%. The greatest probability for tornadoes tomorrow is going to be northeastern Louisiana into central Mississippi. So then we work our way over into the wind threat. So we have ourselves a big 15% risk out here across the yellow. So we're talking potential damaging wind gusts in excess of 60 miles per hour. It is a possibility here. That's a 15% chance. So, kind of works the same way as that tornado thing did. Within a 25-mile radius of a given location, there is a 15% chance for damaging winds that could get in excess between, 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts across the area here in the yellow. And then lastly, the brown is a 5% chance here. So you can kind of see it's relatively low end probability, but across the yellow, 15% chance. I mean, it's a decent risk overall. And then lastly, we do have a 15% risk for hail as well, potential for hail ranging between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So we do have the potential for large hail tomorrow here, of course, as well. Once again, kind of the same thing, 15% chance here across the yellow, and a 5% chance here across the brown overall. So that is that. So I just want to go ahead and mention that. So then we work our way into Monday. Actually working our way into Monday, we do have a little risk for severe weather. I just want to go ahead and mention this real quickly. There's no breakdown probability right now, regarding the exact percentage for tornadoes, large hail damaging winds, but with that being said, we do have ourselves a little marginal risk here for Monday across, eastern Louisiana, across portions here of southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, the panhandle here of Florida, more specifically, the central western side here of northern Florida, as well as southwestern Georgia here is going to be in that risk. So we're going to have a continuation of severe weather here into Monday as well. Oh my gosh, we have Jazz coming in with a 10 gifted memberships. Jazz, thank you so much for the 10 gifted. I appreciate that, my friend. Huge, massive thanks goes to Jazz. Thank you so much, my friend. I appreciate it. Dude, we have Mark coming in with a 20 now? No way, you guys. Jazz, Mark, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much, Mark. Thank you, dude, for the 20. I appreciate it. Jazz, thank you for the 10. You guys are awesome. I appreciate y'all very, very much. 10 gifted from Jazz and the $20 super chat from Mark. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Big shout out. Y'all, please give Mark and Jazz a big thank you in the chat. It really helps us out. It means a lot. So thank you so much, guys. Greatly appreciated. So, like we mentioned, Sunday, tomorrow is going to be kind of the main day. We are going to be doing a bit of coverage tomorrow. I'm not sure what time, but I do plan on doing some coverage on this event here for tomorrow. And like I said, once again, we do have a 5% chance for tornadoes here, a 15% chance out there for damaging winds, and a 15% chance out there for hail. So all hazards, once again, tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds will be a concern overall. All right, let's go ahead and hop our way into timing, guys. I'm sure you guys are probably wondering kind of what time we're going to be experiencing all of this fun stuff. So here's what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and backtrack to the latest 18 Zulu HRRR just to kind of get an idea of timing with things. By the way, the time's in the top right if you guys do want to follow along. You guys can see it right here where I'm highlighting in the top right. This is where you see your time. This is where you see your date here. So you can kind of see, the timing here overall. So as we work our way down in time, so as we work our way over here into tomorrow, actually we do have a little bit of storm activity that's going to be kicking off across southwestern Missouri here later on tonight. Actually should be kicking off at any time here. You can kind of see 10 p.m. Eastern. We could start to develop some storms out there towards like southwestern Missouri overall. Maybe a little bit of showers and whatnot, a little bit of storm activity, not severe or anything, but a little bit of showers and stuff could definitely be kicking off here across the north, as we do have that low that really kicks off there. But anyways, so that's that. So we work our way further down in time here. So as we approach our way into, let's just say, right around 8 a.m. Eastern time, you can see that we do have a lot of rain, possibly a little bit of thunder going on here across, portions of Missouri, going through Illinois, Indiana, Kentucky, likely seeing some pretty heavy rainfall across some of those regions there for tomorrow morning. But that's not the main risk area. So we work our way further down in time, and you can kind of see once we approach our way roughly right around maybe 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern time. According to the HRRR, we do start to get maybe a little bit of storm activity starting to occur across some of the risk area here out there by like Louisiana. According to this model run, you can see, right around 5 p.m. or so Eastern time, so this would be 4 Central. We could get some storms starting to pop off here across the region, so like we mentioned, we'll definitely need to keep an eye out there for it. Obviously storms could fire off a little earlier or a little later, but that's just kind of what the model suggests here. But as we evolve later into tomorrow evening, you guys can see this is at 11 p.m. Eastern, so 10 Central. We really kind of developed this long line of storms and, potential for all hazards, like we mentioned, tornadoes, large hail, damaging winds. I really want to keep a close eye on these prefrontal storms. So we have the main line, as you guys can see, right here. So this is our main line of storms, you can see, but I really want to keep an eye on these guys. There could be a little bit of prefrontal storms. These are the ones that's going to have a good shot for tornadoes. So we'll definitely have to see how those materialize. And believe it or not, that's actually why we have the greatest risk for tornadoes being across, northeastern Louisiana and like central Mississippi, is because of those prefrontal storms. These guys could definitely go. Those guys could definitely go tornadic. So I really want to keep an eye on those prefrontal storms here. The line will still be capable of producing tornadoes and whatnot, but honestly, a lot of the main concern with the main line here is going to be, that wind and that damaging hail threat. So that's going to be kind of the main concern with the line. Still, of course, a couple of tornadoes within the line are going to be possible, but that's why we have that greatest tornado percentage, across some of these areas like northeastern Louisiana into Mississippi, which, if we hop back to the tornado risk area, you guys can see that we do have that 5% region across some of those regions. So we're definitely going to need to look out for those prefrontal storms, in which the models, like the HRRR we're looking at right now, does kind of suggest those storms possibly firing off, fairly late, actually. Fairly late overall. It kind of looks like some of those cells could really be taken off here, pretty much for the kind of the later, mid-evening, I guess. So right around 6 p.m. Eastern, we could really start to get some of those storms developing out there. So we'll definitely keep an eye on it. And like I mentioned, I definitely do plan on doing coverage with you guys because I definitely do think it's going to be necessary, with this line of storms that is going to roll through. And, like we mentioned, as we go our way into Monday, we are going to have that risk for a little bit more storms to occur, a little bit more severe weather, which I'll go ahead and bring you guys back here. Here for Monday, like I said, we have a little bit of a chance for severe weather out there by like Louisiana, southeastern Louisiana specifically, southern Mississippi towards Gulfport, southern Alabama, including like Dothan and Mobile, Alabama here, a lot of the panhandle here, Florida, including the areas out by Pensacola, Tallahassee, Apalachicola, Panama City, and a little bit of southwestern Georgia here out by Albany. A little bit of severe weather could be definitely possible there. So anyways, let me go and take a look at some of these comments here. But anyways, let's see here. Harold says, big shout out to you guys. Yeah, seriously, guys, thank you. Mark, Jazz, I appreciate your all support. It's very, very kind of you guys. I really appreciate it earlier. So thank you so much, guys. Let's see here. So, yeah, there is going to be the potential for nocturnal severe weather with this event, unfortunately. So the timing, like we mentioned, is going to be fairly late, for the storms kicking off. Now, in terms of, those prefrontals that I really want to keep an eye out there for, that's going to be happening pretty much around sunset, is whenever those storms are probably going to start firing off there. So, we're going to have to keep a close eye on those because those will likely continue into those overnight hours. So we'll have to see how things play out. I mean, like I said, it kind of looks like that line develops fairly late, roughly 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern time, so 8 or 9 p.m. Central time, roughly out there. And, those prefrontals could actually fire off a little bit earlier, once again across like northeastern, maybe central Louisiana, cutting into central Mississippi overall. So we'll definitely have to keep an eye on it. Let's see here. Have I watched a new Joplin documentary? I watched half of it, but then I fell asleep. It was pretty interesting so far. I ain't gonna spoil any of it for anybody who hasn't seen it yet, but it seemed pretty good so far. I'll have to finish it. I'll finish it probably later tonight. We'll see. I'll let you know tomorrow how it was if you remind me. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and scroll up a little bit here, see if I missed any comments. Let's see here. But anyways, it doesn't look like I missed much. Okay, that's good. So anyways, like I mentioned, we'll definitely need to keep an eye out there for those storms. Now, another thing I do want to pull up here is, let's hop back over here real quickly. I want to pull up a different site, because, I like to use multiple different sites here for different things. So I'm going to do a little bit more of a breakdown for this event. I'm just going to go ahead and bring this down here. Why not? Let's just go ahead and get this up and rolling. We're going to look at NAM because I really want to kind of show you guys the ingredients that's in place. So obviously, if you guys are new to forecasting and new to, how severe weather works or whatnot, there's really 3 main ingredients that we look at. Moisture, instability, and wind shear. I know those are pretty... For some people, those can be pretty intimidating words. Wind shear is just simply the winds throughout the atmosphere, moving in different wind speeds, different directions. We call that wind shear. And of course, instability, we measure this. This is just basically the fuel for storms, the instability, how unstable the atmosphere is. And then, of course, we have the moisture, how much, present moisture we have in the atmosphere, how much water vapor we're going to have for these storms and whatnot. So, we measured this. First of all, I just want to take a look at the instability. Just look at the amount of fuel in the atmosphere here. So, yeah, you guys can really see here for late tomorrow. Actually, we're going to pop up this little meso floater here. You guys can really see, we have a lot of instability, actually. So, yeah, for tomorrow, this is right around 8 p.m. Eastern time. This is 0 Zulu. But yeah, roughly right around 8 p.m. Eastern, I believe, at 7 Central, we have a lot of instability building in. A lot of fuel in the atmosphere out here. You can really see across like eastern Texas, cutting into like Louisiana, up into Arkansas. We're talking over 2,000 joules per kilogram of instability. Is that a lot? Yes, that is a lot of instability. Typically severe weather, you can have decent severe weather events, with instability over 1,000. We are talking 2 to nearly 3,000 joules per kilogram of instability. That is a lot of fuel. That is a lot of instability. So yes, the atmosphere is going to be very unstable tomorrow, regarding fuel for those storms. So, once again, across Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, there's a pretty good amount of fuel here. Now, looking at our lower level winds, first of all, before we do such, I'm going to go ahead and circle the areas that has a lot of this instability. So once again, this is where a lot of that energy is for those storms, a lot of the fuel for the storms here. So we're going to hop our way over into the lower level winds. We're going to shoot up to right around 5,000 feet or so. This is, relatively shallow in the lower end of the atmosphere. And we do have ourselves, really not a whole lot of really strong winds. That's going to really limit a lot of, nasty tornadoes like we had with the previous events. I don't think we're going to have any significant tornadic activity tomorrow. Obviously, like we mentioned, though, we do have that tornado threat, especially developing relatively kind of towards the evening, as we roll away into the evening there, we could get some of those prefrontal storms developing. And we're talking lower level winds of about 30 upwards of 40 knots. So, that's decent winds in the lower atmosphere, definitely could contribute. It's not the only thing that contributes to tornadoes, but it could allow for, it's enough, essentially, for tornadoes. And as we go up in altitude here, now to right around 20,000 feet or so, kind of middle level, we are seeing that those wind directions are actually changing a little bit with altitude, so that's going to give us that veering motion and that potential for some spin developing in the atmosphere. So obviously, in the lower atmosphere, we have the winds pretty much going north-northeast here. And if we take a look at those mid-level winds, you can actually see those little wind barbs. There's not much veering. There's not much. And I think that's going to keep that tornado threat, I would say relatively on the lower probability. I mean, that large 2% chance and whatnot, the greatest potential, like I mentioned, is going to be kind of in these areas here. But anyways, so there's a little bit of veering. So as we go up in altitude, the wind direction is changing a bit more to the northeast, and we are increasing a little. So as we go up in altitude, we are also increasing the wind speeds too. So with that being said, that is going to give an environment where, a couple of supercells, a couple tornadoes could certainly be a possibility. So, there is enough wind shear, but to be quite fair, it's not like the last event that we've seen. Obviously, that last event, we had a ridiculous lower-level jet, ridiculous mid-level jet. So the wind shear on this one is, it's enough to get a couple tornadoes. But like I mentioned, the tornado threat tomorrow is going to be relatively low. But the greatest concern is going to be up there for like northeastern Louisiana into like central Mississippi with some of those, prefrontal storms. Those are my main concern, for tomorrow. Then lastly, we look at the dew points here for the amount of moisture in these storms. Dew points in the 60s is good. That is supplying a lot of moisture into these storms, which they need. Obviously storms need that moisture. And we have these dew points here in actually like the mid, maybe upper 60s in some spots, which, that's a pretty good amount of moisture, especially if we take a look at our temperatures here. You notice our dew point and our temperatures are not too far off from one another. So our temperature here, you can see, we're talking maybe upper 60s, lower 70s, while our dew points here are kind of in the upper 60s overall. So there's not much of a gap between your dew point temperature and your actual outside temperature. And what that means is that the closer your dew point is to your temperature, the more humid it is. And so there is a lot of moisture that's going to be present for these storms here, which will be great, for the storms to kick off. So, I mean, like we mentioned beforehand, we have a lot of instability. There's a lot of fuel in the atmosphere. Once again, upwards of 2,000 to 3,000 joules per kilogram of instability when, on decent severe weather events, even 1,000 could be good. So we have a lot of fuel. Once again, the thing that's really limiting this event, I believe, is, just the wind shear, really. The angle of attack, the angle that the winds are flowing, as well as the speed that the winds are going, obviously that's going to lower the tornado event overall. So that is good news. That is good news. So we have enough moisture. We have a lot of instability. Really what's going to be pulling down that tornado threat is just, the angle of attack, like we mentioned with the wind shear and whatnot. So, but we cannot rule out tornadoes. Once again, hopping back to tomorrow's outlook, we do have a 2% chance for tornadoes across the green. So, if you're in the green, there is a potential for some tornadic activity in your area, but it's relatively low. And then, of course, we work way into the brown here, where we could see some of those prefrontal storms, some of those supercells developing ahead of that long line that we were talking about. Those are going to have the greatest potential for spawning tornadoes, in which, that does include like northeastern Louisiana, cutting into central Mississippi. So we'll make sure to keep you guys informed. And once again, I'll definitely try to go live later, especially for those prefrontal storms. I really want to try to go live for you guys for those. Because that's kind of where the main threat is going to be, at least for tornadoes anyways. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and get to some of these comments here. Sorry, y'all. I get so caught behind, man. I just get so into the groove, I just sometimes forget to look at the chat, so I'm really sorry. Let's see here. Calvin says, good evening, Andrew. Is Houston, where I live, in a clear for the threat of severe weather? So Houston is going to be relatively good. We do have a general thunderstorm threat, so, a couple of thunderstorms can't be ruled out. A few booms of thunder here and there tomorrow. It's going to be possible. The good news, though, is that we're not expecting any damaging storms or severe storms to occur, so you're looking pretty good. So, Calvin, there's nothing really to worry about, man. All right, Samuel says, let's see here. See a tornado, Vicksburg. So the odds of Vicksburg, Mississippi getting a tornado is actually very low. You can see Vicksburg's in that slight risk out there, or the 5% chance for tornadoes. So basically, like we mentioned here, within a 25-mile radius, let's just use Vicksburg for an example. So within a 25-mile radius of you, there is a 5% chance that a tornado will drop somewhere in that radius there. So as you can imagine, that's a 95% chance that a tornado will not drop in that area. So you can just see how low those odds are. But with the odds, there is that potential still. I mean, we still can't rule it out. And of course, like the models were kind of suggesting here, with those prefrontal storms, I'm a little concerned. This is something you shouldn't brush off, something that you should just say, it's not going to happen. I'm just not going to worry about it. This is something you can't do. Because I know a lot of people who do that. Even though the threat's relatively low, some people just brush it off. And that's kind of the worst thing to do. So while your threat is low and something you really shouldn't panic or freak out over, it is something that you need to still monitor as the day progresses. And like we mentioned, throughout the evening, that's kind of when that greatest concern is going to be, with those prefrontal storms, which I'll go ahead and show you once again for the people who's wondering what I'm talking about. So obviously you can kind of see we have this whole line of storms, guys, developing later tomorrow night. But beforehand, we kind of get these storms developing before that main line does. So with that being said, those are going to be the ones I'm a little bit concerned about, because those are the ones that could, spawn tornadoes the easiest, while the line's developing behind it. So those are your prefrontals, these guys over here. So we'll see. We'll see how those play out. But that's gonna give you that greatest potential there overall. All right, so let's see here. Megan says, hi, y'all. Can someone tell me the map we're looking at? Is it somewhere that I am missing? So this is the tornado risk. Actually, if I bring it back. So this is tomorrow's tornado risk area. So if you guys are in the green, you have a 2% chance of seeing a tornado within a 25-mile radius of your location. If you're in the brown, you have a 5%. Now, like we mentioned, tornadoes is not going to be the only concern tomorrow, as we do have that threat for damaging winds and also hail. This is our wind outlook here. We do have a 15% chance for damaging winds across the yellow. Same thing within a 25-mile radius of your location here. We do have a 15% chance that we could see some damaging wind gusts ranging between 60 to 70 miles an hour in terms of wind gusts, what the winds could peak in those storms. Then across the brown, 5% chance. Now, kind of the similar thing for hail. We have that 15% chance for hail, ranging between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So 15% chance of that happening within a 25-mile radius of a location. Then across, of course, across the brown, 5% chance. So hopefully you guys can kind of understand, what the risks basically mean overall. So that's that. All right, let's see here. Kim says, are we supposed to get some bad weather here in southeastern Michigan? They say rain. So no, Michigan is not in any form of risk over the next 3 days. You are good. As of right now, we are not in the risk for any severe weather, Kim, so you should be good. Let's see here. Let me go ahead and scroll down a little bit here. Got to keep up with the chat. I'm a little bit behind, so I'm so sorry, guys. Let's see here. Let me try to speed it up a little bit. Let's see here. All right, tabletop saying, how's Wilmington? So Wilmington's good. Yeah, we don't got anything going on in the Carolinas anytime soon. So like we mentioned, obviously tonight we have a little bit of a slight risk. Actually, I haven't really talked about this. We have an itty bitty little 2% tornado risk. I mean, it is a tiny little 2%. More than likely, we won't get tornadoes today out of this, but we can't rule out an isolated tornado. So then we have that 5% chance for wind today, a 15% chance for hail between 1 to 2 inches in diameter. So tonight we have a little bit of storm activity here. Hail could be quite possible. That's kind of the main concern for tonight, anyways. So that's that. So yeah, but for the Carolinas, we're good. The only areas that's going to be seeing severe weather today, is across the areas in the dark green and the yellow. Not everybody will see severe weather. That's just where the risk for severe weather is. And then, of course, tomorrow we do have that risk across, areas of Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky. And then we work our way into Monday, and that risk does move downwards a bit for areas like southeastern Louisiana, southern Mississippi, southern Alabama, panhandle Florida, and southwestern Georgia in that level 1 risk overall. So, but yeah, the Carolinas are good. I mean, there is a little bit of a thunderstorm threat out there, but just, a couple booms of thunder couldn't be ruled out on Monday. Nothing crazy, though. Nothing to worry about. If thunder roars, though, go indoors. That is something we always say. Let's see here. What about Dallas area? Good question. So for Dallas, here for tomorrow, we are just outside of the risk area. So Dallas, as of now, is not in that risk overall. Let's see here. Let me catch up. Okay, so there's Dallas. We just did that. Let's see. What's up, Andy? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Texas wants me to look here at zip code. Got you, my friend. Let's go ahead and pull up this real quickly. Alrighty, Okay, so yeah, you got the marginal tomorrow. You're in that level 1 threat overall. So tornado risk is going to be actually, you're just outside of that tornado risk there, so you're actually good to go. We do have a 5% chance for damaging wind gusts. Some wind gusts in some storms that we could range up to right around 60 miles an hour or so. There is a little chance. The odds are very low. Same thing for hail, 5% chance. The good news is that no tornadoes are expected really in your area. I mean, an isolated tornado or two further northeast, in kind of very far eastern Texas could be possible. For you, though, you're not in that tornado risk. Mostly just potential for some gusty winds and maybe some hail, but relatively low in threat overall. Oh my goodness, we got ourselves 2 donations coming in. Thank you guys. Megan coming in with a 5. Thank you so much, Megan, saying I should clearly use this for school, but you and your chat are amazing. Thank you all. Megan, thank you for the 5. I appreciate that. You definitely didn't have to do that. Very, very sweet of you. But I appreciate you joining. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Big thanks goes to Megan. Y'all in chat give Megan a big thank you. Thank you so much. Renita coming in with a 10. Thank you so much, Renita. Megan and Renita, thank you guys. Greatly appreciated. Renita says, hi, Andrew. Is it still the same for Georgia? So, Renita, let's take a look at your area real quickly. So, today, yeah, we're not in the risk out there towards Georgia today. Tomorrow, we're good. And then on, let's see here, on Monday, we're good. So, okay, here's the thing. So, Renita, you're not in the risk for severe weather. So, that's the good news. We're not expecting any severe weather still for the area up by you. However, a couple of storms could still be possible. We definitely do have that threat for some storms. You can see we have that general thunderstorm risk out there between Sunday and Monday's threat. So between Sunday and Monday, yes, it will be possible for a couple of thunderstorms, but the good news is that we're not expecting those storms to be severe in your area. That activity for this event that we're forecasting for is going to be west of you. So Renita, you are good, but don't be surprised if you see an isolated storm or two nearby. It's going to be possible, but once again, no severe weather is expecting out of it. So that's definitely good news. But thank you, Renita. Once again, Megan, thank you as well. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. It really helps us out a bunch. So thank y'all. Greatly appreciate it. All right, let's see. What about Tallahassee? So, yes, actually, Tallahassee, as we work way into Monday, is going to be in that marginal risk here. So, since this is day 3, only for day 1 and day 2, so for today and tomorrow, we have that breakdown between the tornado, large hail, and damaging wind threat. So while we have the risk available for Monday, there is no specific breakdown right now for the exact probabilities. But yes, we do have ourselves that risk that does continue into Tallahassee. This would probably still mostly be a concern for gusty winds and whatnot. We'll see what SPC decides to pull. I mean, obviously it's up to them. We're not the storm predictions here. We're not the storm prediction center here. I'm just giving you the information that they're relaying. But yeah, I mean, you are in the risk for severe weather here on Monday, so a little bit of storm activity will be possible. So keep an eye out there for it, but it's a relatively low threat. I mean, the odds of you getting severe weather is still pretty low. Still fairly low overall. All right. Let's see, Xavier says, how is the jet stream looking? Can I show us the 500 millibar for this event towards the Texas? Yeah, I got you. So a lot of people don't understand what that is. So basically the jet stream are mid-level winds in the atmosphere. Like we mentioned, we have a little bit of, a decent, the jet stream's fairly decent the further north you go, but the problem is that, all of that instability is relatively far south. So wind shear is going to be kind of one of the main things lacking this storm system. Like we mentioned, the winds are, strong enough to get good storm organization. And, once again, potentially a couple supercells could develop out of it. But, it could be a lot better with the wind shear, which I'm very thankful for it. So very, very thankful for it. That's really limiting the storm system. But like I mentioned earlier, though, like instability. We have a lot of fuel. There is a lot of instability, a lot of unstable air in the atmosphere here for tomorrow's event, and like we mentioned, also a good amount of moisture too. Dew points ramping up in the upper mid 60s. That's a lot of moisture. That's a lot of moisture available, especially with our temperatures being relatively low as well. Close to that dew point, making it to where, humidity is going to be quite high. There's going to be a lot of water vapor present. So, with a lot of moisture, a lot of instability, like we mentioned, the lower level winds and whatnot, could be a lot worse. It could be much worse. And I'm very thankful it's not, because the other ingredients are perfect. We got those in line, but really the main thing that's lacking this system is going to be that wind shear. Because, in the lower atmosphere here, if we actually zoom back into our little floater, you can see that in the lower atmosphere, about 5,000 feet up, winds are going to the northeast mostly. Like the previous crazy event we had, what was it, hold on a minute. So so a week from today, last week. So last Friday, last Saturday's risk, we had, that lower level winds going like directly north. So you can see how the winds are, more northeast. The angle of attack is also very important overall as well. But yeah, for our lower level winds, we have, northeasterlies. And as we go up in altitude, you can see that, the wind direction doesn't really change a whole lot. Maybe slightly more to the northeast, or slightly more east, I should say, in this case. So, the fact that there still is a little bit of veering, and, since the winds are still increasing in wind speed with altitude, that is giving us potential for rotating storms. Therefore, we do have that threat. But like we mentioned, the angle of attack for those winds, the direction that they're flowing in, and, while the winds are still fairly strong in the atmosphere here, it could have been a whole lot worse. So, yeah, the wind shear is kind of what's holding the system back a bit overall. Hopefully that helps. Hopefully that makes a little bit of sense for some of you guys. I'm not the best teacher out there, but I try my best. All right, let's see here. Kim says, no, I guess not. It's not rain. It's just snow. Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate it. No problem. David says, any updates on Austin, Arkansas for tomorrow? Let me check, my friend. Let me see what's going on out there. Austin, Arkansas. All right, let's go ahead and pull up tomorrow's risk here. So wow, look at that. You're actually just on the edge of that risk there. Oops. So you're not in the risk for severe weather here for tomorrow. Although a couple of storms couldn't be ruled out. We'll see about if SPC expands this upwards. We'll have to see. I'm not for sure. But, you're right on the edge of the risk area here. There could be some storms, in close to the watch area. And in close to the risk area. It is possible, we could still get some storms, but we're not really expecting severe weather for your area. However, we do have that general thunderstorm risk, which means that a couple thunderstorms, a few booms of thunder can't be ruled out, essentially. So, anyways, Jessica says, thank you, Andrew. I'll be tuning in on Monday when it runs through Northwest Florida. I really appreciate that you were with us overnight during the outbreak. It means a lot. No problem, Jessica. Glad to be there. And I really appreciate your support, and thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciated. Let's see here. Dusty says, thank you. To Megan and Renita. Okay, never mind. Let's see. Renita says, you're welcome, everyone. And Andrew, thank you once again. Yeah, big thank you does go to Renita and Megan. Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it, y'all. Greatly appreciated. What's up, Sonia? Hope you're doing good. Let's see here. Let me see. Roaster says Andrew is jumping between Radar Omega and College of DuPage. Yeah. There's so many different programs we use, dude. It's crazy. All right, let's see here. Amber is, I think I remembered it this time. It's not Ember, it's Amber, right? So let's see here. Amber wants me to look at the zip code just to see if you're quote-unquote safe. Yes. So you are good for tomorrow at least. We're not expecting any severe weather tomorrow. Monday, look at that. You're right on the edge of that risk there. So while you are in the marginal risk, it's a low-end threat for severe weather, and you are right on the edge of it. So honestly, the odds of you getting severe weather is extremely low. We can't rule it out completely. I mean, considering you're right in that risk, right, even though you're right on the edge of it, yes, it is still possible for a couple of strong to potentially severe storms. So Monday, it wouldn't hurt to keep an eye on the radar. It would not hurt. While it is going to be possible for a little bit of storm activity, perhaps an isolated severe storm or two, the threat is relatively low. So I wouldn't really worry about it too much. But, still, like I said, keep it on the radar throughout the day. All right, let's see here. No problem, overbuilt. Let's see here. Let's see what's up for USA Knoxville, Kingston area. Are you talking like Knoxville, Tennessee? Because Knoxville, at least that part of Tennessee is not in the risk here for tomorrow. So Knoxville is in the general thunderstorm risk. Once again, potential for a couple of storms. A few booms of thunder. Can't rule it out. However, central western Tennessee, the further west you go in the state, the greater potential there is for severe weather. For example, we have like Memphis in that level 2 threat, Nashville in that level 1 threat. So yeah, the further west that we do track, the greater the risk increases. Let's see here. Dusty says, do I need to be concerned about lightning tomorrow? Going fishing. Oh, enjoy your fishing trip, my friend. Let me see what we got going on here. So you're up in Illinois. Okay, so tomorrow we do have a general thunderstorm threat out there. Let me bring up the future radar, kind of show you what's going on here. So for tomorrow, I mean, you can see we're going to be getting a pretty good amount of rain, really rolling through, especially early in the morning. By the afternoon, it still likely is going to be raining a bit. I hate to tell you, man, but it looks like it's going to be raining a lot of the day. It doesn't look like that's going to really clear up until the evening time. You can see the time in the top right there. We're going to get a lot of rain in the morning here, 7, 8 a.m., 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's noon Eastern. So 1 p.m. would be noon your time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can still see maybe some storms trailing behind. We can't take this precisely, but, yeah, it looks like it's going to be quite a rainy day for you, man. Hopefully it doesn't. Pack an umbrella if you want to. The good news I can tell you, though, is that we're not expecting any damaging storms or anything severe out there, so that'll be good. All right, let's see here. David says, thank you, Andrew. Keep up the good work. Thank you, David. I appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Let's see here. Sonia says, doing well, Andrew. Thank you. Yeah, no problem. Glad to hear you're doing good. All right. Bentley says, what about Shreveport? So Shreveport is in that level 2 threat tomorrow. So we do have that level 2 threat for severe weather. You're in a slight risk, which the scale, like you mentioned previously, it goes from a scale of 1 to 5. Greater the number, the higher the number, the greater the potential for severe weather, and the greatest. So basically, the higher the number, the greater that the probability for storms increases, as well as the potential the storms could do increases. So meaning stronger storms and greater probability, the higher the risk level. Hopefully that makes sense. So tomorrow, Shreveport's in a level 1 tornado risk, which is a 2% chance for tornadoes. So within a 25-mile radius of Shreveport, there is a 2% chance that a tornado could drop within a 25-mile radius of your location. So as you can imagine, it's a relatively low risk. We can't rule out tornadoes in the area, although the risk is very low. So it's going to be hard for tornadoes to happen, but it is still possible. The environment's still definitely capable of it. Okay, so that's that. Now, in terms of damaging winds and hail, that's actually going to be kind of your main concern. For damaging wind gusts, we have a 15% chance. So we're talking potential for damaging winds to possibly get up to anywhere from 60 maybe to 70 miles an hour in terms of wind gusts. So we are talking the potential for some strong winds on the storms that roll through. 15% chance across the area in yellow, which for the people who's also watching here, we have a 5% chance across the brown, 15% chance here across the yellow. Now, for hail, relatively the same threat area. Between the hail and the damaging winds, there's really not much that changes. But for hail, Shreveport area is also in that 15%, which, gives you a 15% chance, that we could see hail ranging between 1 to 2 inches in diameter overall. So that's kind of what we're looking at. There. So, yeah, your main concern is going to be between gusty winds and hail. We do have a low-end tornado threat, though, as well, but very unlikely. Very unlikely you'll see any tornadic activity. But just be aware and keep it on the radar just in case if something happens, okay? So, just looking out for you. Alrighty. Let's see here. All right, Amber wants me to take a look at a zip code. Gotcha. Let me go and pull this up real quickly. This is up in Georgia. All right, so we out here are not in the risk for severe weather tomorrow. Yeah, actually, we already did your area. So, like we mentioned, we do have that level 1 threat for severe weather right on the edge of you. You're right just barely inside of that level 1 threat. So, yes, it is going to be possible for a few isolated severe storms, but the odds are very unlikely that you'll see anything super crazy. Keep an eye on it because, we are expecting some storms out there. This is not tomorrow, by the way. This is not Sunday. This is Monday, so day after tomorrow. That's when we could see, a couple of storms. Right now, we don't have that breakdown, like we do for today and tomorrow. Because it's day 3, day 1 and day 2, we have the available breakdown. But for day 3, since it's 3 days out, we don't have that available to us. But, yeah, relatively low threat, and you're right on the edge of it. So we'll see what SPC does with future upgrades, or updates, I should say. Let's see here. Dusty says, thank you, no problem. No problem at all. Could I show the north part of Arkansas? Sure. Yep, so here's Arkansas. So like we mentioned, the dark green and the yellow areas, these areas are at risk for severe weather. While we do have the light green, this is just a general thunderstorm risk, where a couple storms are possible, a little bit of storm activity is possible, but nothing severe up here is expected. For the dark green, though, that's that level 1 severe weather threat, and for the yellow, that's that level 2 severe weather threat, so we're climbing up the ladder. So greatest potential, at least in Arkansas, is going to be down in the south. So level 0 thunderstorm threat, level 1 severe weather threat here across the dark green, and then the level 2 severe weather threat across the yellow. So that's Arkansas's risk out there. Let's see here. Does anyone know about is it Hahara, Georgia was talked about? Was that your area? Yeah. So once again, you're right on the edge of that level 1 threat. Yeah, so like I said, you're just going to be right on the edge of it for Sunday. We'll see what SPC does for future updates and whatnot. All right, let's see here. Bentley, you're welcome. No problem. See, this severe weather event is thankfully not as bad. The good news is that it's not as widespread compared to last weekend. Yeah, so here's the thing. So we have a lot of instability. We have a lot of fuel for these storms. We have a lot of moisture for these storms. Dew points mid-upper 60s. That's a lot of moisture potential. Between that, low temperatures. Temperatures and dew points are pretty close. Allowing for higher humidity and whatnot. There's a lot of moisture. So we have the moisture. We have a lot of instability. 3,000 joules per kilogram of instability. Throughout mixed layer. So that's a lot of fuel. The main thing, like we mentioned, is the wind shear. That's really limiting this storm here. While yes, we definitely do have decently strong winds throughout lower and mid levels of the atmosphere. Like I said, the direction they're blowing in and the speed of which is limiting to fact of anything significant, I believe. I don't think we're going to get anything significant tornado-wise. While I do think tornadoes will certainly be possible, significant tornadoes are pretty much unlikely. Nothing like the last event, like you said, of course. Let's see here. Anyways, let me see. Hahira. Is it Hahira? Is that how you say it? Oh. Gotcha. I'll see if I can remember that. I'll add it to the list of things I got to remember. I'll add it to the list of things that I will still probably continue to say wrong until it finally gets engraved in my head somehow. But anyways, I do that for a lot of places, though. So, Jen says, thank you. No problem. This Bakersfield tornado was close to us. Watched it over Mountain Home, Arkansas. Gotcha. So, for Arkansas, like we mentioned, tornado threat's relatively low for Arkansas. I mean, we have the state here has like that 2% chance. Relatively low end chance. Once again, the greatest concern for tornadoes tomorrow is going to be like northeastern Louisiana, central Mississippi. With some of those discrete cells, those prefrontal storms that could develop ahead of it, or ahead of the line there. So as you can see, as we work our way into the evening, we get that line that really develops here. But before it, you can kind of see we have this little clump of, prefrontals that develop, those storms to happen before the main line. The main line is going to be the main driver of hail and wind. But, the greatest tornado potential is going to be in, potentially some of these to discrete storms overall. So, that's that. That's what I'm mostly concerned about. And those storms are actually going to fire off first. At least they're expected to. Those prefrontals, you can see kind of maybe developing anywhere from 3 p.m. Eastern, 4 or 5, anywhere from 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern, which would be 2 to 4 Central overall. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. And, of course, right as we work our way into the later evening, that's whenever we really start to develop that line, which I'm going to try to go live for that semi-discrete or that discrete mode of those prefrontals. I'm going to try to at least stream that because the line, it's mainly a wind and hail concern late. I'm mostly concerned about those areas in that 5%. Let's see here. Local pronunciation of town is so difficult. Andrew tries his best. Yeah, I do. Even though if it turns out not very good sometimes, I try my best. But anyways, if anybody has any final questions, I guess we're getting ready to roll off here relatively soon. We're almost at our hour mark, a little hour update for you guys. But if you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, consider subscribing. That way you guys can stay weather aware and updated with these storm systems here. Like I said, we cover everything weather-wise. I mean, from tornadoes, severe weather outbreaks to tropics to winter weather. We cover it all. So, like I said, we'll make sure to keep you guys updated. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Leave a like as well. It'll help the YouTube algorithm, help spread our channel a bit. If you guys could help share this channel as well, tell your friends and family to subscribe as well. It would be greatly appreciated. That way, they can stay up to date, and it'll just help out everybody in general. So it'll be greatly appreciated. But if anybody has any final questions, feel free to throw them down in chat before I roll off here. But like I said, we'll definitely try to do coverage for you guys tomorrow. I want to cover that 5% tornado risk here sometime tomorrow afternoon whenever we do have some of those prefrontal storms really kicking off. So we'll definitely make sure to keep you guys updated. But anyways, folks, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, everybody, here for joining. Before I do roll off here, I do want to pull this up real quickly. Just to give a big thank you to our supporters tonight. We had a lot of support tonight from you guys. I really appreciate every single one of you. So a big thank you goes to Jazz for the 10 gifted, Mark for the $20 super chat. We had Megan with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Megan. And of course, Renita with the 10. I appreciate it. So Renita, Megan, Mark, and Jazz, thank you guys for your support tonight. It's greatly appreciated. You guys are awesome. I really appreciate y'all. And like I said, you guys really do help us out a ton. You guys help keep us afloat, help keep us running. So I can never thank you guys enough. You guys are really helping contribute to keeping everybody weather aware. So I want to say thank you once again from the bottom of my heart for the supporters. Thank you everybody for even joining here. Like I said, just watching. I appreciate everybody who joins here. Just thank you everybody for being here. And all right, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Actually, before I do, Mark wants me to look at West Virginia in the future. So, Mark, my man, you are not in any big concern. Really not expecting any severe weather or hardly any storm activity. Tomorrow we have a little bit of that thunderstorm risk, but yeah, honestly, West Virginia is not really seeing much severe weather-wise. We do have a lot of rain coming in, though, for tomorrow evening. If I bring back up the, let's see here. if I bring it back up the future radar, you can see as we approach our way into tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening, especially late, we really get a lot of precipitation falling across the region there. So I would expect definitely a decent amount of rainfall and whatnot. If I overlay the, let's see here, precipitation, we'll go ahead and overlay the total rainfall here. Go ahead and pull this up. We'll go ahead and disable that view here. I don't know if this is going to work properly. Here, let's do 12-hour rain. Oh, hold up. Maybe it was working there for a minute, but I messed it up. Here we go. So now that that's loading. Yeah, I mean, some of you folks out there, at least according to HRRR, could receive up to about 1/2 inch of rain or whatnot. Really not a whole lot, but just, yeah. Expect a little bit of rainfall out there as we are going to be getting that line there. Especially late, like I mentioned, especially later. Overbuilt, you don't got to do that, my friend. I appreciate it, though. Let's see here. Janice says, what about Fort Myers, Florida? So Florida doesn't have much of a threat here. Let's see, Fort Myers, Florida. No, we're good. We're out here. We're not in any form of risk for severe weather. So we're good. What about Willow Springs, Missouri? Let's see here. You, my friend, are in. So we do have that little threat for severe weather tonight. Most of it's going to be west of you, but you are in that level 1 threat. So relatively low in threat, Devin. However, there is going to be potential for a couple of strong to potentially severe storms. Good news is that you're not in that tornado threat. There is a little tornado threat far to the southwest. You're just shy south of Joplin, southwest of Springfield. Little itty-bitty 2%. For you, though, you're not in that risk. Really, the only thing you got to look out there for mostly is hail potential between 1 to 2 inches in diameter and maybe even some gusty winds. I mean, you're right on the edge of that wind threat. So, can't rule it out. But, main concern out there is actually going to be hail potential. Let's see here. What about Fort Worth, Texas in the clear? So yeah, Dallas-Fort Worth area is actually good to go. We are not expecting any severe weather out of tomorrow's event out there. For today, nothing. Not even in the general thunderstorm risk, really. Yeah, so that activity is just going to be east of you. So we are looking pretty good. But, alrighty, everybody. Well, that's going to go ahead and wrap up this live stream. Once again, if you guys are new to the channel, consider subscribing. It'll be greatly appreciated if you guys could help share this channel to your friends, your family, anybody you really can, just to help spread the awareness. Like I said, I'm here for you guys. I want to make sure you guys are staying weather aware and prepared. Like I said, I'm going to do some coverage tomorrow. I'm definitely shooting for it. I at least want to cover a little bit of that prefrontal, potential with the greatest potential for tornadoes and whatnot. So, we'll definitely help you guys out there. Okay, Purple, I'll do yours real quickly, and then we're going to roll off, guys. Like I said, tomorrow we'll be here, though, to help you guys out as well. So, Illinois, yeah, this part's fine. A little bit of thunderstorm activity here for tomorrow. Can't be ruled out. We do have a bit of rain coming through. The good news, though, is that no severe weather is expected for this area. But, a few rumbles of thunder can't be ruled out. So, yeah, don't be surprised if you hear some thunder. Anyways, can see gray is still blurry, but this has changed my life. Thanks. Coverage Drew. I don't see anyone chasing tonight. I don't know if it started yet. No, it hasn't. Actually, it's supposed to be starting any time now. Let me see. I don't. Oh, actually, it's starting. It's already starting. Hold up. Let me bring up radar. I just now noticed it. Yeah, we're getting to initiation here. Oh, there it is. There she goes. Literally just now starting. Goodness, look at that. Yep, so watch right in here. That's the beginning of the event. Yeah, dude, HRRR was on point, man. HRRR was on point. All right, everybody. Well, you guys take care. Like I mentioned, tonight we just have a little 2% tornado risk. The odds of us getting a tornado tonight is very low. So, but can't be completely ruled out overall. So just keep it out there for warnings, local warnings and stuff. And if you have a weather radio, turn it on. Make sure you have a way to receive warnings. But anyways, let's see here. Sounds good, Frankie. I appreciate it. But, alright, everybody. Well, thank y'all so much for joining. I appreciate y'all. Once again, we're going to go ahead and head off here for now. Like I said, we'll catch y'all tomorrow, though. We'll keep you guys updated with everything. Once again, if you're new to the channel, consider leaving a like, hitting that subscribe button. And if you guys haven't already, just leave a like if you could. It'd be greatly appreciated. Well, stream's going to head off here in approximately 1 minute, so go ahead and say goodbye to your friends, your family, anybody you're hanging out with in the chat. Once again, I appreciate everybody for joining us. It was greatly appreciated. Once again, a big shout out goes to Jazz for the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much, Jazz. Mark for the super chat, Megan for the super chat, and Renita for the super chat. Thank you guys very, very much. It's greatly appreciated. You guys definitely help keep us afloat. So just want to say thank you to everybody. I really appreciate it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us, for hanging out with us and everything. But alrighty, everybody. Well, you guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your night, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace out, my friends. Catch y'all in the next one. See you later.